Well, let me introduce you to the Watchmakers Staking Tool. Today will be an overview. As a hobbyist, you might be thinking, do I even need a staking tool set? Well, to do specific repairs to your pocket watches, you will need a staking tool set. Now, my staking tool set is a vintage one. It was made in 1925 by the C.E. Marshall Company. Some of the most common uses of the staking tool set are balance repair, such as removing balance staffs and installing new balance staffs. I'm going to be making a whole series on different usages of the staking tool set. I'm sure you'll find these very helpful. So how about subscribing to my channel and hitting that like button? Now, the staking tool is a very precise tool in the watchmaker's trade, but it's also one of the most abused. Yeah, it's not uncommon to see them so abused so bad that you can't even use them anymore. We find most of the damage done to the ends of the punches where someone's used a steel hammer to do a staking job. We'll talk about that and the correct hammer to use in a few minutes. Now, I purchased my staking tool set off eBay, and it's a complete set, and it had good pictures so I could zoom in and inspect the parts and make sure nothing was damaged. So that's one of the places you can get one. Another place is maybe an estate sale somewhere. So regardless of where you buy one from, you really want to be able to inspect it, especially the ends of those punches, to make sure they're not all mushroomed out from someone using a steel hammer on it. And I'm going to show you why it's really important that they're not mushroomed out here in a minute. Now, this part of the staking tool is called the staking frame. Now, this part here I'm pointing to with all the holes in it, it's called the die plate. And there's a knob in the back that you turn that loosens the die plate so it can rotate around, and you can locate each one of the holes that you need to use. And then you take the knob in the back and you tighten it down, and it locks the die plate back into place. Now, these parts are called stumps. They're used as a working surface instead of using the die plate of the staking tool frame. And there's different styles of stumps to do specific jobs. To use those stumps, you just take your centering punch from your staking tool set. You use it to line up the correct hole that your stump will fit in. You lock down your die plate. And you find the stump that you'll be using for the job that you'll be doing. And then you find the correct punch that you'll be using. Now, here's something else that might have came with your tool set. This slides over the punches so you can lift the punches out of the toolbox. That way you don't touch the tips with your fingers and get sweat on them and cause them to rust. Now, these are your staking tool punches. Each one is used for a specific repair on your watch. So let's look at one of our punches. The tip of this punch is hardened. The steel has been treated so it's hard. But the end of the punch wasn't treated. It's a softer steel. So if you go pounding on the end of this punch with a steel hammer, you're going to mushroom out the end of it. So the type of hammer that's recommended is a brass hammer. This one is a 3-ounce brass hammer, and I find that sufficient for any staking job that I've had to use it for. Now, you can get these on Amazon. That's where I got this one. So by using this, you won't have to worry about doing any damage to your punches. So why is it so important not to damage the end of the punches? Well, the punches can also be used as stumps. If you didn't have the stump that you needed, you can invert the punch by placing it through a large hole in the die plate into the base of the staking frame. That way you've turned that punch into a stump. If the ends are mushroomed out, you won't be able to invert them this way. Now this type of staking frame is called an inverto, and it was invented in 1907 by K&D Staking Tool Company. With this method you could have 100 stakes, and with that combination you could have up to 10,000 stake stump combinations. That's not even considering the conventional stumps that are in the set. Now let's talk about maintenance of your staking tool set. I just use a little bit of this 3-in-1 oil, and I wipe down each one of my stakes. I put a little bit of oil on a rag, and each one of the stakes that I've used, I'll wipe those down. Just get a real light coating of oil on them. It doesn't take a whole lot. I try to avoid handling the stakes as much as I can with my hands. I'll use either gloves or latex cots, so I'm not putting sweat on them to rust them. Because I want them to be in good shape, and I want to try to keep them lasting as long as I can, because the parts are hard to find now. Used to, you could find them pretty easily on eBay, but now they're getting kind of hard to find. So I take that and I just put a light coat of oil on the die plate of the staking set itself. So take care of your staking tool set. Don't abuse it, and it'll last you a long time. And subscribe to my channel so you can see that whole series of staking tool videos I'll be putting out. The series is going to be about the stumps, the punches, and how each one is used individually.